This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. In a remote tropical forest, a missionary's mule missteps
We didn't even know the cliff was there.
and plunges to the jungle floor below.
How are we going to get her out of here?
There are no roads into these areas.
In our most desperate moments, it takes strong faith to keep hope alive. We begin in a remote jungle area of south-central Mexico. In February of 1992, Maryland dentist Jim Ray, his wife Karen, and their 8-year-old son Billy were on a goodwill mission to bring much-needed care to the local Indians, never once expecting that they would become the ones in need.
I go on mission trips. I feel a calling to do that, to take some time off and to try to help other people. The people are wonderful down there. And we go to very remote villages where they seldom see any type of medical personnel. There are no roads into these areas. There are trails, you can take rivers, you have to hike.
Louise Slammers was one of the missionaries on the trip.
We knew we had quite a walk, and you saw some real nice rivers, lots of flowers, very jungle-like area. We knew, of course, that there's always the risk to doing work like this.
My wife, she was very enthusiastic about going. Billy, we left the decision up to him, and he decided that he would like to go with us.
When we left the village, it was sort of like a long dirt road, no jungle on either side. The trail was about like 2 iguanas wide.
Ruth Brooks was the group's dental technician.
The first couple of hours we were walking, and I was like, there can't be much more of this. It was really hot. And the Indians, they'd pass us, they'd just run by.
I have horses at home, and you couldn't take horses over these trails. Only mules, burros could keep their footing going up and down these trails because it just gets too treacherous.
We came to a big grassy area where there were 4 paths coming together like an intersection. So I named that the mule intersection.
We got to a point where it was a really steep incline, and I just remember looking up and thinking, another hill to climb.
Karen had been walking for quite a ways, and she had some shortness of breath because she has some asthma problems. You easily feel at home with her, so you share experiences quite quickly. And we also had built a friendship, actually, which was unforgettable.
It was very narrow because we were walking single file, and at that point, the vegetation is so thick, you don't know how far down it is.
We didn't even know the cliff was there because there was a lot of trees and stuff.
We went up maybe a couple hundred yards, something like that, and Karen was behind us riding the mule.
Mule started to lose its balance and misstep the rocks. Then she couldn't hold on anymore. She fell quite deep, which we didn't realize right away.
I just kept thinking, this can't have happened.
Oh my God! Let's go!
It was a terrible drop. At that point, I ran back down, and she was down off the cliff, and I thought she was dead.
When we continue,
We're going to get help, but we will be taking her back to a village that took us a rough day to get into. There are no doctors, there are no clinics. What do we do there?
while on a mission of goodwill in an isolated area of Mexico, more than 100 miles from the nearest doctor, Karen Ray fell off a cliff, plunging to the jungle floor below. Her husband, Jim, ran down to try to help her.
Ve por ayuda, trae un doctor y unas gentes que ayuden. Alguien de rescate.
I saw her move, and I knew she wasn't dead.
I see her moving. Okay, she's alive.
And I could see that there was blood all over her head and on the jungle floor.
I was just thinking it had taken us 2 days to get there, and how are we going to get her out of here?
I saw that my mom was really badly hurt. At that point, I began to get really scared.
Okay. Porque está en shock, está fría.
Okay. I took the antibiotics and I dumped them in the water, and I poured it in the wound to try to clean it as best we could. And I just held her head for a period of time. But she kept asking if we could go home. And I told her yes. But I didn't know how.
Que venga gente a ayudarnos, a ver cómo le haces.
The Indians decided to run to the village for help, to carry her.
Para hacer una camilla, porque no la podemos mover, porque a lo mejor se rompió algo la señora.
I had actually had a fear that maybe she would be paralyzed because she couldn't move her legs.
The girls are going to go back, Ruth and Louise. I want you to go back with them, okay?
Billy didn't want to go back early, but the Indians move so fast. When they get here with help, they're probably going to move very fast and leave us behind.
You're back there, Bill.
We know you're going to be back.
I went back with 2 Indians, and one of the Indians ran ahead.
She kept saying, my back is broken. But my biggest concern at that point was the head wound. I was very concerned about swelling in the brain because she took quite a blow. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get help to carry her out of this situation, but we will be taking her back to a village that took us a rough day to get into. What do we do there? There are no doctors, there are no clinics, there are no phones, there are no communications whatsoever. There are no roads to that village. I did know that they had a grass landing strip for a bush plane, but this was Sunday, and they don't fly on Sunday. I felt totally helpless.
Hey.
A lot of villagers came back. They cut down balsa trees, and they didn't have ropes, so they used vines to make a stretcher.
Hay que amarrar aquí, rápido. Okay.
Have the sleeping
A ver,
bag here,
okay,
please.
let's put it under her.
We spread a bedroll out right next to her. Gently rolled her away from the bedroll
Okay, now.
and rolled her back on it.
Very easy, very easy. Take your time, take your time. A ver, más para allá, más para arriba. Con cuidado, ten cuidado de sacudirla.
Get the bag under.
And we just kept trying to comfort her about the back problem. I don't think she felt the head wound at all. Even though they were carrying her, they were still moving very fast. And I was trying to keep up, and I couldn't, and they were getting further and further away from me. There were 4 river crossings. What the Indians did was they simply plunged right in the shortest way. And to see them carrying her across this river was remarkable. At one point, they stopped to tighten the hammock and the stretcher because it was really bowing. And they laid her down on the ground, and they stopped and they laid hands on her and they prayed. It was the only time that I heard her stop groaning. It was the longest day of my life. Constantly trying to figure out what we can do, praying about it, hoping for a miracle.
It was not a custom for that plane to be there. It happened to be flying in the area, and they called it down, which was a real blessing for us.
It was an incredible miracle that the plane was there. This missionary has been there for 25 years. He has never known it to fly in on a Sunday. It just doesn't happen. And yet here it was.
There was like villagers just lined up all around the side, like standing in the shade. They were just, some of them were just crying.
The kids were really excited because when the plane left, then they all started running in the wind because they don't have wind there.
Less than 5 hours after Karen's fall, she was on her way to Tuxtepec, the nearest town with a doctor, more than 100 miles away. Once there, she was taken to Dr. Paulino Garcia's clinic.
I was worried because we weren't sure of the degree of her injuries. We definitely knew there was a problem with her pelvis, but we didn't know to what extent. I wasn't sure if she would be able to walk again. I had to call my colleague in Veracruz, a neurosurgeon. I explained what had happened, and he told me precisely what I needed to do to avoid a cerebral edema. So we administered steroids to arrest any possible swelling of the brain. It was very important for us to monitor her condition over the first 72 hours. We saw that she was improving very well, and that encouraged us and her family.
In the 2 years since the accident, Karen Ray has been recovering from her fractured pelvis and nerve damage from the back injury she suffered as a result of the fall.
It's a slow recuperation and probably won't be 100% again, but you know, I'm just so fortunate to have had the care that I had.
Hey Russ, come here buddy. The missionary said that This is an opportunity for these Indians to turn around and give help back. And they really did. They turned out, they did everything they could. It has confirmed our faith in people. It has strengthened our faith in God.
Dr. Garcia is just an incredible gentleman. He was just such a kind man. I'm really touched that somehow he came into my life.
What was really amazing, he didn't charge us anything, except for maybe a couple of antibiotics. Was like, in American money would probably be about $1, or like 5 days in clinic. I wouldn't have traded that day in the jungles for anything in the world. It's a very humbling experience to think you're going to go help people, and it gets totally turned around and you are the recipient of all the help. That's very humbling.
Jim plans to return to the remote jungle villages of Mexico to return the kindness of the Chinanteco Indians and continue his mission of goodwill.
I'm looking forward to seeing them again because they really pour it all out from the heart. And I know that if physically she is able to, Karen would like to do it again.
If I could speak in Chinanteco dialect, I'd probably say thank you for saving my mom's life.
Amazing feats of skill and ingenuity are performed. But no matter how hard the medical personnel try, they cannot always work a miracle. This story is not a recreation. It's a very real look at one victim brought to Erlanger Medical Center in Chattanooga, Tennessee on October 2nd, 1993. 5:03 p.m.
County. Yes, sir. Okay, we got a motorcycle accident with injuries. Hey, I'm showing on my computer $14,500. $14,500? Yeah. Okay, man. All right. See.
6:35 p.m. The 25-year-old victim, Russell Cope, arrives at the hospital. Among those who treated him at the scene was Hamilton County paramedic Dave Klingman.
The motorcycle evidently was flipped end over end several times down an embankment off a road. He was alert and conscious, but he asked a lot of repetitive questions, which kind of suggest he may have had some kind of a head injury.
He probably traveled 20, 30 feet past the bike.
When the accident occurred, Russell had been riding motorcycles on a country road with his uncle, Gary Brooks.
I was probably doing 75 or 80, just trying to catch him. I saw him go around the curve, and then when I went around the curve, he was nowhere in sight. Ran down, and he wasn't moving. He was just gasping for air.
What's your name, buddy?
Deb, you have your scissors.
Russell?
Yes, go.
You know what's happened to you?
Chief Trauma Surgical Resident Roger Land heads up the team treating the victim.
Wiggle your toes from you, okay? Keep on the wiggle. Wiggle your toes. Move your legs.
Since he had a motorcycle accident, which means he was actually thrown from his vehicle, he definitely needed the cervical spine evaluated.
He's moving his arms and everything.
Just arms, no legs.
I've not seen him move his legs at all.
He may have a big pulmonary contusion on the left leg. We also noticed upon looking at his chest x-ray that his left lung field appeared to be completely whited out. He's got a pulmonary contusion, if not a left hemothorax, which we're going to pick up. There was a strong chance he could have a significant amount of blood in his left chest. He's got something that ain't quite right on that chest x-ray. You can see a fracture with fragment into the spinal canal, which is here in an outward fashion with some canal compromise. At this time, he does not have any neurologic function below this level, and chances of him having any neurologic function below this level in the future are very little. The statistics say only 15% of motorcycle accident victims ever walk away safely from the accident. Unfortunately, this gentleman's luck ran out tonight. Mr. Cope.
Yes, let's look at the family.
Dr. Land, one of the senior surgery residents here. You're his father. Well, when he wrecked his motorbike, he caused a fracture in his back, okay? And when he came in, he was complaining of not being able to feel anything in his feet. It doesn't look like there's a good chance he's going to get any function at all back. But he's lucky to be with us, okay? Good. He did make it through the accident. He's going to need a lot of support from us and from family to get through this thing in the future, okay? Good. All right. But he's with us, good. Okay? And he's going to be with us, okay? All right. We'll get back here and finish taking care of it.
The victim's parents, Roy and Darlene Cope, have come to be with their son.
He's going to be a little confused, okay? But still, I just will operate on him a lot right now, okay?
Russell, talk to me. Okay? Open your eyes and talk to me. You had a wreck. You did, baby. Huh?
First thing he said to me when he saved me, Daddy, will you pray for me? I prayed with him. And I thank God that he's alive.
We pray, Father, we ask you to give the doctor wisdom and knowledge. Russell? Hi. Daddy's here.
The family support is very important in situations like this. We know he's going to go through a grieving period, a period of depression, which is understandable, but we hope that he will see the positive sides, that he can rehabilitate himself into a wheelchair and have a job, drive a car, and have a future.
You need rest?
The helmet saved his life. He may be paralyzed, but he could be dead. He could be gone. I could no longer have a son.
You don't tell us anything. Life is precious. Parents always need to be there for their children. We do, Russell. We care for you. You can love someone greatly, never express it or show it, and maybe the next day they're gone.
A week has passed. Russell continues to gain strength. His brother, Junior, has visited him every day.
We always did things together. It's like my best friend. I thought I was going to lose him, but I haven't. It's hard. He just slowed down a little bit.
That's why you got scar tissue.
That's my fishing buddy. And I said, boy, you got to get well. We got to go. He gets in his wheelchair, and he's able to. I'm going to stick a rod in his hand and say, go, throw it, boy. Let me see how far you can throw it.
10 months have passed since Russell Cope's accident.
It was really hard for me. When I woke up, and found out that I'd be paralyzed, and my first thought was, why didn't I die? The happiest moments to me are being able to go fishing with my brother.
Catch the big one.
Junior and a couple of friends of theirs built him the platform and made the ramps for him to get into that boat. If you want to fish, boy, you're going to fish. That's basically what they said to him. We'll find a way. And they did.
So often it's easy to give up and quit when you ain't able to do the things you once were able to do. And he's come a long way since the accident, a lot further than most would give him credit for.
Well, speed is what caused the accident, and I enjoyed the bikes, but you need to respect them, and people need to respect them more than I did. If you don't have that respect, it's the same thing can happen to you.
Some people steal, they cheat and lie.
Before the accident, if I wanted to do something, do it bad enough, I done it. I feel the same way now. And there's things I want to do that, there's nobody out there going to tell me I can't do. Anybody can tell me I can't do something, but you know, if I don't go out and try, that may be so.
And to my soul. That was pretty good, wasn't it? Hey, that was.
On August 6, 1993, when 12-year-old Holly Valbrock came over to 14-year-old Ann Stedham's house, they had planned nothing more ambitious than hanging out together. The girls often spent time with one another, so Ann's mother, Sharon, thought she had no reason to be concerned.
Annie and Holly are good friends. They like to do a lot of things together.
These are looking real nice, Mom.
This particular day, they got it in their head that they were just going to take the old car parked out by the barn to return some clothes that belonged to a neighbor. And I said, no, Ann, I'd rather you didn't.
I wish you would just let us go.
My mom, her no's are usually like, no, you cannot do this. But that day she was kind of lenient about it. She said, no, but it's your responsibility.
So you're taking the blame. Just get in trouble.
Ann would not be old enough to get a license to drive legally on the roads for 2 more years.
Oh, awesome.
I just drove around for a little while. Hollywood asked to drive, and so we switched back and forth. Since we had driven before on the farm, we didn't think it was any big deal.
John Valbrock is a reserve officer with the local police department and 12-year-old Holly's father.
It's legal for them to drive them in the pastures, but they're not supposed to get them out on public roadways. Unfortunately, you get 2 kids together, and sometimes it's what one doesn't think of, the other one will. And once you start sliding on gravel, that's it.
When we get to her house, she's gonna freak. Hey, that'd be cool if we could meet Brandon and Aaron up at the lake. Oh my gosh! What are you doing? I'm sorry. It's hard. Oh my God!
When we continue.
You could just see the car clear over in the ditch, upside down. The top was all smashed in. And I thought there's no way that girl could live. I figured it just crushed her.
I remember waking up, not really knowing what had happened. And I just started yelling Holly's name. She couldn't answer me.
Holly? Holly?
I was afraid to see what had happened. So I squeezed out of the back window. I just took off running. I thought she was dying. I thought she was dead already.
Charlene Anderson lived in the next farmhouse down the road from the accident.
I heard somebody holler.
Somebody help me! Help!
The Stedham girl was in my front yard, covered with blood. You could just see the car clear over in the ditch, upside down. The top was all smashed in. And I thought there's no way that girl could live. I figured it just crushed her.
Within minutes, Chillicothe Fire Rescue arrived at the scene, including paramedic Jim Saylor.
My partner got out, and I took the ambulance on down.
You okay?
There was a lady with the patient down in a ditch. You couldn't see the face, you just could see the back of the head.
Okay, hi, my name's Holly Valbrock.
The lady said, "This is Holly Valbrock," which was kind of a shock at first. I knew Holly.
I'm Jim.
I've worked with her dad for several years.
Take care of you, okay? Where you hurt?
Her right arm was trapped up under the car. So I reached in under to feel what kind of problem there was, and you could tell there was massive damage. At that time, I didn't know whether the arm was actually still attached or not.
Holly's father, John, and her mother, Teresa Calvert, went to Hedrick Medical Center when they were notified there'd been an accident.
Fractures and lacerations in the...
We kind of started hearing these reports that, you know, things didn't sound so good.
Patient Holly Valbrock.
When they did give her name, I looked over at Amy and Teresa, and they were both panic-stricken, and just, it was just like the whole world just stopped.
We needed to lift the car far enough where we could get the arm out. Holly was scared, she was hurting. There wasn't a lot of bleeding because the weight of the car put pressure onto the wound. But we didn't know, exactly what was going to happen when we lifted the car off.
You grab that arm, help me bring that out. Okay, good.
There was massive damage to the shoulder area. Part of the bone where it fractured was sticking out. You could see the ball in the socket.
This may hurt a little. Your head.
We kept telling her not to look at it. Don't look at the arm.
All right, we need the collar on. Get that arm.
I didn't think there was any way that they would be able to save that arm at all.
Anne had suffered only a slight concussion as a result of the accident.
You could hear him talking back and forth on the radios, saying everything that was wrong with her. And they were telling me to quit crying.
Do you remember what happened?
But I couldn't because the radios were saying that it was worse than they thought. And I'm the one responsible for it.
It was kind of sad because if they'd had her seatbelts on, it could have been a complete different story. Holly may not have been injured at all.
What happened?
The attending emergency physician, Cal Greenlaw, happened to be Holly's doctor and a close friend of the family.
When they brought Holly in, it was really difficult. The emotions that you have that you just don't dare let loose is tremendous.
Dr. Trinidad and meet you down here right away. By the look on the doctors' faces and the nurses' faces, of course, it's being a small town, we know them all, and you could just tell that it wasn't very good.
You're okay?
I finally got to go in and see her. This seemed like forever. And Holly's such a neat kid. The first words out of her mouth was, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Holly was taken by Research Eagle helicopter to Lutheran Medical Center, more than 200 miles away, where a team of microvascular surgeons led by Dr. Jay Goldberg would try to save her arm.
Some irrigation, please. Her skin had been torn off from about this level on the arm. All of the muscle on the top of the arm was exposed. Scissors, please. The nerves weren't severed. So there was a chance that some of her function would come back. But at the same time, there was a good chance that even if I could reestablish blood flow into her arm, that it may still not work, and that she still may lose the arm.
Over the next 2 months, Holly underwent a series of operations to try to repair her damaged right arm.
She made remarkable progress in the hospital. I believe it was a week after her first 2 surgeries that she put a pen in her hand and she wrote, "Hi, Mom." And it was so cool. We were so excited.
The top mark today.
And from then on, it just seemed like she could do a little bit more as each day went by.
How many times?
Keep going.
9 months after the accident, Holly continues to undergo physical therapy.
She is doing great. She has full feeling in her arm and her hand, and she can move it, full movement. The only thing she can't do is she can't get her arm completely straightened out.
Ah, he's better step on me, Holly. It was a hard recovery for Holly. She is probably one of the bravest people I've ever seen. There were times when the therapy was really frustrating. There was quite a bit of pain.
When I look back to that day that we got in the car, I just think to myself, why didn't we just stay home?
She doesn't know how to use the oven. They ever baked the bread?
Holly's back to her normal self again. Guy crazy. She tries to be cheerful if you're down, and she always cheers you up. She's my best friend in the world.
Oh, look at you.
I think we've become better friends over this. And we just like open up to each other and tell each other everything. Anne feels bad. Like it's all her fault. I think it was just an accident. But I wouldn't get myself in that situation again.
I woke up in the middle of the night sometimes in a cold sweat thinking of what if. I don't know if I could have made it.
Hi, Holly.
I just can't imagine life without her. She's a great kid.
Next.
I was secured with the fact that the doors were locked, the dogs were chained up, and I would be back before they even woke up.
On April 15th, 1994, Jeannie Sawyer left her Dutton, Virginia home around 9 a.m. to run a quick errand. Her daughters, 17-year-old Janelle and 4-year-old Rena, were still asleep, but Jeannie never imagined that anything bad could happen in the hour she planned to be gone.
Sorry to put you on this truck.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Sure, she's watching me, so. I had to take my mother-in-law to get a prescription, and I really was secured with the fact that Janelle would be there to watch Rena. And the doors were locked, the dogs were chained up, and I would be back probably before they even woke up.
That morning, Walter Hunley was meeting his brother to help him mill a log at a nearby field.
And I found that he hadn't arrived yet. It seemed like such a waste to just sit here because I had so much to do. The place where we would be sawing this log was rather isolated. There were only, I think, 3 houses on the road. I noticed a little girl playing out in the backyard. She was the only thing going on. And gosh, she was lovely. And I watched her play to pass the time. She walked over to where the dogs were tethered. She evidently knew them very well because she began to play with them. And I thought it strange, too, that after so long, I hadn't seen anyone around this child. She seemed so happy and so carefree, and the dogs were so gentle and let her play with them. She fell down on the ground, I thought, in play. Somehow it dawned on me that maybe this child was having trouble because the dog seemed to be struggling and couldn't move. I could see that she was being strangled by the wrap of cord around her neck. Each time the dog struggled, the wrap became tighter and tighter, and it had reached the point that it had shut off her air. I tried with all my strength to break the grip between the snap and the dog's collar, but I couldn't break it. There wasn't enough slack, and I didn't want to choke this child any worse than she was already being choked. She had already begun to discolor around the mouth. I'm with you. But when I got the cord cut and unwrapped it, she gasped.
Breathe. There's a girl.
Breathe again. The thought that her neck might have received damage never really crossed my mind.
Be all right, baby. You're gonna be all right, sweetheart. Come on, Rena. Come on, Rena. You're good.
Neighbor Randy Ewell happened to be driving by.
I seen this man running across the yard toting his child, Janelle's sister. I didn't know which one was in worse shape, the child or him.
Tied up in the dog's rope.
Then when I seen the marks around her neck, I started beating on the door.
Janelle.
Rena's older sister, Janelle, had been in her room getting dressed.
When I saw their faces, it scared me. I felt like it was my fault. And I thought, what if she had died? What would have happened to my family? No, I wanted to thank that man.
If I hadn't have showed up, the child would have been hidden in the grass. No one would have been there to see her fall. And consequently, no one would have been there to have freed her.
4-year-old Rena Sawyer suffered no ill effects from the incident.
She knows now she cannot go and play with the dogs if they're tied up. And she can't even go near them to give them anything. We let them loose to play with Rena, and she's cautious now.
Oh, no.
But we don't want her to be afraid of animals because she's an animal lover.
Mom's gonna hold you. I want to be an animal doctor. We have to take care of puppies and little kitties. You have to do a lot of things.
For 25 cents, I'll let you clean all the fish I catch.
Walter and Rena have become good friends.
The newspaper girl said, "I'm not surprised when I found out it was Mr. Hundley." She goes, "That's the kind of man he is."
You're too heavy for me.
I hope I don't fall overboard.
If you fall
But if I do, would you come and get me? Rena's like a new granddaughter to me. Whenever she sees me, she comes up and gives me a big hug and a smile.
We're gonna hang our feet right off the end of the wharf. We're gonna catch that big one. I said, let me have your rod. Man.
We're gonna have great times together. And I think she looks forward to it as well as I.
We're gonna.
The fact that I could help a child in need, in desperate need, made my previous 66 years all worthwhile.
This is more fun than painting the fence, isn't it, honey?
Step out of the car, please.